Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Uh, Today's episode 12, and today's topic is the person you think you are is just a story that you tell yourself. Your identity is not a fixed truth, it's not something that is not changeable, it's something that can be changed if you're willing to accept change, which acceptance to me is the highest form of self love. And identity is formed by when the individual stories we tell ourselves to ourselves. The story that we tell to ourselves, which stories I mean by like how the way you talk to yourself. The way that you talk to yourself can influence how you see yourself and how the world sees you, due to just basically because the way that you talk to yourself is can be both, it depends on how you if it's either positive or negative. It can influence you because you're always by yourself usually. You're always with yourself. And when you are in those quiet moments of like reflection, the way that you talk to yourself can reflect on, yourself and then onto the world. And reflecting in a way which is beneficial is contributing to a positive self-image or narrative. If you're self-reflecting in a positive way, you're you're contributing to a more positive self-image because positivity it lingers positivity, it attracts positivity. And having that narrative of like being positive, especially just healthy, mentally healthy is a better word, is better because I mean obviously I feel like people want to be happy, that's what we always talk about. And the labels you accept are going to show on to you. So like what I mean by labels is like, athletic, kind, caring, ugly, handsome. The way that the labels that you give to yourself are gonna show onto you. If you feel like you're a bad person, people are going to see you as a bad person. If you feel like you're ugly, people may see you as an ugly person. It just depends on how you I guess illuminate your labels to other people. And when you take it to face value, people are going to see it face value because that's the first thing that they see. It's the surface level things. Believing into one narrative can hold you back from growing. Believing into one narrative, what I mean like by one narrative is just like one like I guess ideal principle. Like if you believe in one narrative too much, it's going to hold you back because life is all about growth and exploration. You're allowed to explore different areas and paths of life. You're allowed to have multiple principles and narratives because that's what makes people diverse and unique. Diversity is something I think is beautiful because imagine the world being the same. That would suck. And diversity gives that like feeling of being able to learn something new every day, especially when it comes to people. Learning about people is fun. You aren't the only one who writes your story. You know, friends, family, and the environment, society has an influence on who you are as a person. Yes, people say that yes, I was the one that built myself up as a character. No, you weren't. Not to be like rude, but I mean, majority of it, yes, it just depends on how your intentions are towards yourself. But deep down, the friends, family have a big influence on you. For example, if I was born into a different country that wasn't the USA, I would be a completely different person from the person that you see on the screen. They have an influence, and if you don't like those influence, and especially if those influence lead to a negative self-image, you can change that. Change is change. It's change. Your self-image is changeable. So change for the betterment of yourself. If you can change for yourself, especially if you want to be like, hey, this person that I'm upholding right now is not a person I want to uphold or like show to other people, change. But don't change in the ill intention of trying out of self-hate. Change in a way that is allowing change, which allows acceptance to oneself, which once again is a form of love. Don't change out of like self-hate, because changing out of self-hate has a deeper ill intention, because it's not love. It's not an act of love. I mean, obviously there's many things like, for example, there's overweight people that do exercise because they hate the way that they were and get muscular, and then they still chase because the one thing that they're missing is acceptance. And acceptance leads to you feeling whole because you can accept all versions of yourself. You can accept the person that you are, the person who you're becoming, the person who you were. Because if you can't accept the person that you are in the past, the future, or the present, how do you expect to love yourself? How do you expect to love others? And simple yet quiet moments shape who you are. Like, when you're at your bedroom at night, things that you think, the things that you allow in your, mind can indirectly influence the person who you are in that moment. And obviously, in the present moment, we're constantly changing. We're constantly observing. And it's important to only allow like positive thoughts. Obviously, negative thoughts, if we didn't have negative thoughts, positive thoughts, we wouldn't know those were positive thoughts. It's like those paradoxes. You can't have light without dark. You can't have beauty without ugly. You need those things. But, don't let them overstay and don't let them influence your self image. Intentional choices create new intentional versions of one's own identity. If you don't have intentional choices when it comes to choosing the person who you want to become, that's not authentic. You're not like passionate about it, and being passionate about the person who you are is important, because if you're not passionate about the person who you are, then that's not confidence, and confidence is key in life. You got to be confident about things, because if you're not confident, then it's like basically saying, I am this person, I am this character, but I'm not fully accepting of myself. I'm not fully like I'm not prideful. And obviously being prideful is not good, but be confident about yourself, because it's it's attractive, it's something that's needed, and it leads to having, I guess, a more happy life, because you're okay with yourself. It's acceptance. The way you see yourself can reflect on others. Like, for example, if I hate something about myself, like if I hate my hair and I see a guy with the same hair, I'm gonna hate that about him, because I haven't accepted that person who I am right now. And obviously hate, anger, resentment pulls people apart, and allowing that to like influence the way you perceive others, I mean, it's rude. It's not needed. You need more compassion and love is needed. And especially when you feel like, once again, if you hate something about yourself and you see someone that has like the same feature as you and you start to hate them, that's a reminder of, hey, you've got some resolving to do about yourself. You got some things you got to fix about yourself. And that's a good use of reflection, I guess. But obviously, self-hate is not a good thing. It's not fun to deal with. And outgrowing your old identity can be hard, but it is necessary for becoming a better character. If you aren't actively trying to outgrow the old version of yourself, you're never going to experience new, I guess, identities of yourself. I think there's a bit of awe and amazement in that you get to change into a better person, a newer person, especially if you're not okay with the person who you are. Accept change, allow change to come within your life and play a role. And it can be hard to let go of that, because brains are wired to certain things that make them feel safe, because it's a threat to go into the unknown. It's like while stepping in a dark room, it's scary. It's a potential threat. It gets scary, but it's letting go of old identities is necessary for growth. And that's something I like, is the idea of growth. It's really cool. Other perspectives of you is just a conceived perception, not the whole face truth conclusion. Don't let other people, the way that they see you, affect the way that who you are and the way that you see yourself. Allowing other people's, and like, I guess, expectations or perspective of you influence your life is basically giving up on yourself. You're allowing especially if it's negative. If you're allowing negative things to come to your life, especially when it comes to other people's influences, that's not self-love. You're okay with that, because you feel like it's like being like, a puppet on strings. You're okay with whatever happens, because you're not in control. And I think having control of your life is important, because if you have control of your life, you can achieve the things that you want. You can do the things that you want. And don't let others' perspective of you ruin your art. Don't let people, the way that they talk to you, the way that they see you, ruin the way who you are as a person. If someone sees you weird, be the weirdo. If it makes you happy, chase what you want to do that makes you happy. Whatever gives you meaning and purpose, do it. Who cares about other people's perspective? In 100 years, no one's gonna remember you. Not to be rude, you're gonna be forgotten. You might as well take the time that you have, the finite amount of time that you have on life right now, to be yourself. Be confident in yourself. Because if you're not confident in yourself, how are you going to live a life that you want? How are you just gonna be okay with that? Because just don't let other people ruin your art, and that's important. Just be like, hey, f them. Let me be myself. Identity shifting is constantly changing, so expect it. You're constantly changing, even right now. Me sitting down right now, I'm constantly changing. Like, I'm learning by talking to myself and the things that I've jotted down on my notebook. I'm learning this way because it's new information. I'm changing, I'm adapting to new things. I don't notice it, but change is inevitable and it's important. Only allow positive influences influence your mindset, identity, and character. Especially when it comes to like trying to be a better person. If you allow negative things, it's gonna be a giant conflict. You're gonna always be in that state of, I want to be a better person, but I'm still allowing negative things. It's like an addiction. It's hard to let go. It's hard to fight against. But once you let go of it and allow only the good things in your life will seem a lot more brighter and lively, a lot more positive, a lot more worth living. And life is always worth living. It's good. It's good to try to allow positive things because it's an act of self-love. It's like treat yourself how you treat someone that you deeply care for. Stay true to yourself. Be authentic. It's like, once again, if you're the weirdo, be the weirdo. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to who you value. Stay true to your principles. If someone comes up to you like, I don't like you, who cares? Be yourself. Don't live a life for others. Live a life for yourself. Don't conform to others' expectations, perspective of you, because it's authenticity. If you conform to other people's expectations, you're going to constantly chase a validation. You're going to constantly chase that, hey, I want to be valued. I want a special place within the world right now. Because if you meet other people's expectations, you're not going to feel fulfilled. It's going to feel like you're constantly, emptying into an endless void of expectations that you're never going to meet. And the only way to have, feel full is radical acceptance of oneself. If you can accept who you are, even if it's the bad version, if you're not the best state of yourself right now, if you can accept that version, who knows how you're going to feel about yourself when you're at your peak. You're going to feel on top of the world. So stay true to yourself. Don't put up with a story that isn't telling the truth. Don't put up with something that you're telling yourself that isn't the truth. Because sometimes for example, I have conflicts with my mind. I've talked to myself a lot. Like there's two voices, the one that I'm talking and the one in my head. And sometimes it just says things because it's usually it could be in and out, sometimes negative and positive. But if it's not the truth, then why should I listen to it, And don't listen to people. Don't put up with people telling you something that isn't true. Truth leads to growth, a better connection to oneself and to others and the world. And I think truth is important because it's real, it's not fake. It's not covered up with something like a mask. Many people may play a role within your story, but many may not be there in the end. People are going to constantly go in and out in your life. People are going to come and they're going to go. And that's okay. And that's why I still advise it's important to accept yourself as a person. Because if you get attached to a person and they leave, or you really like someone and they just, I guess they just leave without your life, it's going to feel like you're not whole anymore. It's going to feel like, that was like my everything. What do I do? Especially with people that deal with breakups. That's why it feels like that. But if you can accept yourself, you can be okay with being alone. You can be okay with just being by yourself, because if you have yourself, you have somebody. If you want a more ideal life, adapt a more positive ideal state story of yourself. Once again, if you want a more ideal version of yourself, adapt a better way that you speak to yourself, a better mindset, a better intention of becoming a better person. Because you can't become a better person if you don't have the intention of becoming a better person. It's like if I had a bad mindset, how do I expect to be a good person? That just doesn't work. The gap between your current story to your potential story is just at arm's length. Change is possible. If you feel like change isn't possible, it's right there in front of you. It's right, actually, it's inside you. It's inside of your heart. It's inside of your mind. It's inside of your soul. It's possible to change because it starts with yourself, not with others. It starts with you. Some identities are formed to protect you from fear, rejection, and uncertainty, but can hold you back. It's like when I was talking about the unknown thing. Some identities are going to feel like they're protecting you, you know? You feel okay with that. Like if I was in a certain identity group, like okay, if I was in this group and I felt protected, I felt safe, but I wanted to grow, I wanted to explore life, but I was scared to leave. It's holding you back because you're not allowing yourself to explore yourself, explore your identities, explore what you can achieve and become. And that's not acceptable, because I just believe that being able to change is something that is a God-given gift. It's possible and it's cool to change, you know? You reach better stages through changes. Identity shift when you're forced to change. Identities can shift when you're forced to change, especially like, for example, if I moved to another school, my identity would probably shift because the people that influenced me, my environment, I would be forced to change. And it's okay to change, especially when forced. But if it's forced in the manner of, if it's forced and you become someone who you aren't, then that's not healthy. You know, I don't think you should force change, but if you are forced to change, accept it. But you still have the power to become a better person, just due to your own beliefs, principles, and guidelines that you follow. You know, it's all within yourself. The way you treat yourself is a reflection of your mindset. It's, like I said earlier, the way that you see yourself is just a reflection of your mindset towards yourself. Oh my gosh. Sorry. It's just all about what you believe in. And if you have a negative mindset, you're going to see yourself in a negative way. It's, you know, the way that you see the world, the way that you see yourself is going to slowly change the way that you see things, because it's just big impactful influences that can kind of shape to how you see yourself. You know, it's important to try to adapt to a more positive person, and growth takes time in order to reach its full beauty and potential. Take, for example, a tree. Trees take time to grow to these big, beautiful foundations of nourishment, beauty, and art. Obviously, they started off as a little sapling, but over time, it became something beautiful, something we humans admire. Same with the waterfall, the erosion, the water constantly hitting the sides of the rocks. It takes millions of years, thousands of years to become what we love to see on hikes. We go to hikes because we want to see waterfalls and rocks. It takes time in order to reach your full potential and full beauty in life. So allow the states that you are in, especially if you don't feel like you're at your peak, allow yourself to be there. Don't force change. Don't force identity shifts. Don't force things to be the way you want because you want that way. Let life naturally flow. Everything gets better through time. You just have to wait for the end reward. Just, if you feel like life sucks, you feel like everything's hard right now, everything is better through time. I can't say that enough. It's like when you get a scab or a bruise or, you know, an injury, it takes time to heal. Like me, my foot's currently injured. It's taking a good while to heal. And I know that after it's healed, I will have the reward of being able to run again and do the things that I love. And if you feel like life sucks right now, just gotta wait. Just gotta put faith into the future. Sometimes waiting is essential for the reward, because certain timings can come just whenever they come. You just gotta be patient. Patience is key. Your self-worth is determined by you, not others. I think that was a quote by Beyonce. I think it was a good one. I think your self-worth is determined by you, not others. Determine your own self-worth. If you feel like you're being determined, your worth is being determined by others, cut that off and then determine your own worth, because that's acceptance and love towards oneself. Unconditional acceptance is the first step to a positive self-image. That's why I think acceptance is key in everything. If you don't accept yourself, you're not going to accept, many things that may come your way. Be more concerned with your character rather than your reputation, because a character is who you are, while your reputation is merely of others, what others think of you. It's another quote that I like. I wanted to bring it up. It was like what I was trying to say earlier. Be more focused on your character rather than the reputation that you uphold. Reputation is key, especially in the economic area of life. But when it comes to just basic living, be concerned with yourself, not with the reputation that you are trying to uphold, because that's trying to meet other people's expectations. And then you're not living your life. You're not living who you want to be. Once again, chase what makes you happy, what gives you meaning and purpose. Who cares what others think? Who cares what your parents think? Who cares what your mom? Who cares? Follow what you believe, because you only get to live once. There's only a finite amount of time on this earth. You do what you love. Obviously, there could be many obstacles and things, but obstacles are important. They're, imagine being able to give in everything in life easily. That kind of just ruins the fulfillment of, I worked really hard to get here. If you aren't comfortable within your own skin, then life is going to feel uncomfortable. It's like the way that you see yourself is going to reflect on the world. If you aren't comfortable with yourself, you're not going to be comfortable with the world. It's like with insecurity. If you're insecure, socially inept, or just not really, you don't like the idea of socializing, life is going to feel awkward. Or you don't like something. It's just like everything starts within you, and it's going to reflect on how you see the world. Loving oneself is having a good perspective of oneself. That's how I want to end off today's episode. I think love is what is key here. Also acceptance. Those are just two things I want you guys to take in. It's just loving oneself and radical acceptance. If you have those two things, I promise that your self-image will be more positive. You'll like yourself better. And obviously, it comes with the intention of having the want to be a better person. You want to love yourself. Don't force love. Don't force your identity shift. Let it naturally come, but obviously have the intention to. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I had fun reading, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for listening if you made it to the end, and I love you guys. I will see you guys soon. Bye bye.